The Temple Mount in Jerusalem has never been excavated, but an illegal construction project 20 years ago opened the door to some major discoveries.
For hundreds of years, the ground beneath the Temple Mount has remained untouched, sealed off, guarded, and deliberately left unexplored. Not because curiosity was lacking, but because access was forbidden. Now, for the first time, technology has crossed a boundary no human ever could. Using advanced artificial intelligence, scientists applied deep subsurface scanning combined with powerful pattern recognition systems to analyze hidden data beneath one of the most sensitive places on Earth. What the AI detected was not simply solid stone, and it wasn't just the remnants of ancient foundations. The data revealed something far more troubling. The formations below do not behave like natural geology. They don't resemble known tunnels. They don't match any documented structures recorded in history. Researchers went in expecting scattered traces of the past, but what appeared instead caused immediate concern. The scans showed unusual empty spaces, sharp geometric shapes, and deep formations that look intentionally placed. These are not signs of collapse or erosion. They appear designed, deliberately concealed. Some experts believe the patterns point to purposeful construction. Others argue that such formations shouldn't exist at all. And that's where this story takes a disturbing turn. Because if these scans are accurate, something beneath the Temple Mount was meant to stay hidden. And now, artificial intelligence has seen it. Before we reveal exactly what the AI uncovered, make sure to like and subscribe, because discoveries like this don't remain in the open for long. The Temple Mount, also known as Haram al-Sharif, is far more than a simple rise of land in Jerusalem. Sitting at the heart of the Old City, it is one of the most sacred, contested, and sensitive locations on Earth. For Muslims, this is the place where the Prophet Muhammad is believed to have begun his heavenly journey. For Jews, it is revered as the site of the first and second temples, the spiritual center of ancient Jewish life. Few places in the world carry such deep religious meaning for so many people at once. For centuries, people have come here to pray, to defend it, to fight over it, and to imagine what secrets might lie beneath its ancient stones. Yet, despite its extraordinary history, one thing has always remained forbidden: excavation. Digging beneath the Temple Mount is strictly prohibited. Every corner of the site is carefully controlled and access is tightly limited. This is not due to a lack of interest, but because the location sits at the intersection of faith, history, and politics, where even the smallest disturbance can ignite global consequences. This tension was already evident in the 1860s, when British officer and engineer Charles Warren arrived in Jerusalem. His mission was to search for traces of the ancient temples described in biblical texts. But Warren understood the explosive sensitivity of the site. Any direct excavation on the Temple Mount itself would have sparked outrage and unrest. So instead of digging openly, Warren was forced to proceed with extreme caution, marking the beginning of a long history of curiosity constrained by controversy. To avoid triggering controversy, Warren chose a different path. Instead of excavating above ground, he focused on what lay beneath the surface. Armed with ropes, lanterns, and hand-drawn maps, Warren descended into the underground spaces below the ancient city. What he uncovered was a hidden world, narrow passageways, complex tunnels, and ancient water systems that revealed an unseen Jerusalem beneath the streets. One of his most significant discoveries later became known as Warren's Shaft, named in his honor. Some historians believe this passage may have been used thousands of years ago by King David's forces as a secret route to enter the city undetected. Warren's daring work demonstrated that Jerusalem was built layer upon layer, resting on centuries of history carved directly into solid rock. His findings confirmed the existence of concealed tunnels and underground structures that few had ever seen. Yet, despite his determination, Warren faced a barrier that still remains today. The Temple Mount was strictly off-limits. Religious leaders and local authorities refused to allow any disturbance to the stones, fearing damage to the site's sacred and spiritual significance. From Warren's time to the present day, excavation on the Temple Mount itself has remained forbidden. For Jews, the mount holds unmatched importance. It is considered the holiest place on earth, believed to be the location of Solomon's temple and the Second Temple. At the heart of these temples stood the Holy of Holies, a sacred inner chamber believed to house the very presence of God. The exact location of this sacred chamber is still unknown. Because of that uncertainty, many Jewish religious authorities advise their followers not to walk on the Temple Mount at all. The concern is that someone could unknowingly step on the holiest ground, unintentionally violating what is considered the most sacred space in Judaism. For this reason, any form of excavation on the mount is viewed as unacceptable. The site is equally sacred to Muslims. It is home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock, its golden roof rising above Jerusalem's skyline. According to Islamic belief, this is the place from which the Prophet Muhammad began his journey to the heavens. The Islamic Waqf has long been responsible for protecting the mount, and it considers any outside digging or investigation to be a violation of sacred ground. Even the most careful archaeological work is seen as too great a risk. The potential for damage or desecration is considered far too serious to allow any exceptions. But the significance of the Temple Mount extends beyond religion. It is also deeply political. For many Jews, uncovering physical evidence of the ancient temples beneath the mount would be historically priceless, reinforcing their ancestral connection to the site. Yet, even the idea of searching for such evidence can trigger intense tension. For Muslims, the mount itself represents faith, history, and a continuous presence in Jerusalem. Any outside interest in what lies beneath it can be perceived as a challenge to that legacy and authority. Since 1967, following the Six-Day War, Israeli forces have maintained security control over the Temple Mount. At the same time, the Islamic Waqf has continued to oversee its religious administration. This fragile arrangement, security handled by Israel, spiritual matters managed by the Waqf, has largely kept the peace. However, that balance is extremely delicate. Even a small change to the status quo can spark protests, unrest, or potentially wider conflict. In a place this sensitive, archaeology is never just about science. The discovery of a broken shard of pottery, an ancient coin, or a carved stone could quickly become something far more powerful. Every artifact carries the potential to support a claim or challenge one. Here, evidence is never neutral. Every finding holds weight far beyond history, shaping faith, identity, and political power. This is why the site remains protected, silent, guarded, and untouched. Unlike places such as the pyramids of Egypt or the ruins of Petra, the Temple Mount cannot be opened to tools or excavation. What lies beneath its surface remains unknown, hidden from scientists and explorers alike. Layers of soil and stone conceal its secrets, adding to the deep mystery that surrounds this sacred place. For decades, the Temple Mount was completely off-limits to archaeological digging. Its immense religious importance, political sensitivity, and the constant tension surrounding it made exploration impossible. No matter how strong the desire to uncover its past, the site continued to keep its secrets buried. Then, in the late 1990s, an unexpected event changed everything. The breakthrough didn't begin with a dramatic discovery, but with a pile of dirt. During construction work on the Temple Mount, massive amounts of soil were excavated and removed. Archaeologists were not present during the process, and the earth, filled with fragments of ancient history, was dumped into the Kidron Valley near Jerusalem's Old City. To many scholars, it felt like watching history being erased. Artifacts that had remained buried for thousands of years were suddenly scattered among rubble and debris, seemingly lost forever. The chance to study them appeared gone. But a small group of archaeologists refused to give up. They realized that while they couldn't dig directly on the Temple Mount, they could still study what had already been removed. That idea sparked one of the most innovative archaeological efforts of modern times. In 2004, Israeli archaeologists Gabriel Barkay and Zachi Dvira launched what became known as the Temple Mount Sifting Project. Instead of excavating sacred ground, they transported the discarded soil to a public park in Jerusalem. There, they created an open-air laboratory. The method was simple, but remarkably effective. Soil was poured onto fine wire screens and gently washed with water by volunteers. As the dirt fell away, hidden objects began to emerge. Every fragment mattered. Pieces of pottery, animal bones, beads, coins, and countless tiny artifacts were carefully collected, catalogued, and studied. What was once considered lost debris became a window into thousands of years of history. The project was open to everyone. Families, tourists, students, and local residents all took part. Children on school trips uncovered ancient coins, while visitors from around the world discovered pottery fragments and pieces of long-forgotten tools. It wasn't just professional archaeologists doing the work. Ordinary people became part of uncovering Jerusalem's past. History came alive through hands-on effort and shared discovery. Over time, the project revealed more than 500,000 artifacts. Each item was a small piece of a much larger story, helping to reconstruct the long and complex history of the Temple Mount. Many of the finds dated back to the period of the First Temple, when Solomon's Great Temple is believed to have stood. Among the discoveries were everyday objects such as cooking pots, storage containers, and oil lamps, offering a glimpse into daily life thousands of years ago. Other items were clearly ceremonial, likely used in ancient religious rituals. One of the most remarkable discoveries was a collection of tiny clay seals known as bullae. These seals bore names written in ancient Hebrew, belonging to priestly families mentioned in sacred texts. In their time, bullae were used to seal documents or containers, providing powerful evidence that these individuals truly existed and were active at the site. An unexpected and fascinating find followed. A small ivory comb etched with an inscription in one of the earliest known Canaanite scripts. The text referred to removing lice from hair, revealing an intimate and surprisingly relatable detail of everyday life in the ancient world. Through these discoveries, the distant past became personal, human, and real once again. Though simple, that short inscription revealed powerful insights into everyday life and the earliest stages of written language. It showed how writing was already being used to record even the most ordinary human concerns. Other important discoveries followed, including bronze incense shovels once used in religious ceremonies. These tools, marked by skilled craftsmanship, offered a rare look into ancient forms of worship and ritual practice. As each artifact was carefully studied, a vivid picture began to form, a thriving city shaped by faith, trade, and daily routines. Together, these finds brought Jerusalem's ancient world into sharper focus. The true impact of the Temple Mount Sifting Project went far beyond uncovering artifacts. It changed the way people connect with history itself. Rather than keeping discoveries hidden away in research facilities, the project opened the process to the public. Anyone could take part. A teenager might hold a coin last carried by a Roman soldier 2,000 years ago. A traveler from another country could touch a fragment of pottery that once belonged to an ancient kingdom. History became something you could feel, not just read about. What made this effort truly extraordinary was its ingenuity. While politics made direct excavation on the Temple Mount impossible, science found another path. The soil that had been removed held countless untold stories, and every fragment washed by volunteers revealed new clues about a site that has been alive with human activity for millennia. The discoveries confirmed that the First and Second Temples truly existed. Even more striking, artifacts from multiple cultures and faiths were uncovered, showing that the Mount has long been a place where different peoples lived, worshipped, and crossed paths. Yet the project's greatest achievement may not have been the artifacts themselves, but the people it brought together. Volunteers came from different countries, followed different religions, and spoke different languages. Still, they worked side by side, examining the same soil and uncovering the same history. The ancient past stopped feeling distant or abstract. It became something tangible, something you could hold in your hands. And it all began with what looked like a disaster. In the late 1990s, tons of historically rich soil were dumped outside the city. What seemed like an irreversible loss of history turned into one of archaeology's most inspiring success stories. Teams ultimately recovered more than 500,000 artifacts, each one telling a story of kings and ordinary people, sacred ceremonies, and everyday life. While the Temple Mount itself remains protected and untouched, this project uncovered secrets that had been hidden for centuries within its soil. What the findings made clear was something many had long believed. This sacred place has always been a meeting point of faith, creativity, and human accomplishment. Then, in recent years, a breakthrough changed everything. Scientists discovered a way to explore what lies beneath the Temple Mount without shifting a single stone. Between 2021 and 2024, researchers used advanced scanning tools and artificial intelligence to look deep below the surface in ways never attempted before. They combined ground-penetrating radar with historical maps and powerful computing systems, creating a method that respected the holiness of the site while still revealing buried history. Ground-penetrating radar works by sending signals into the ground and measuring how they bounce back. Computers then translate those signals into images of what lies beneath the surface, much like giving the Earth an X-ray. On its own, this technology has limits, but when paired with artificial intelligence, researchers can process enormous amounts of data quickly and identify patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. The AI acted like a digital detective, comparing radar images with historical maps, some dating back to the early 1900s during the British Mandate period. Those older maps showed the locations of known tunnels, water systems, and underground structures. When scientists layered modern scans over these historical records, previously hidden features began to emerge. This approach had already proven successful in Egypt, where similar technology helped reveal secret chambers inside the pyramids without causing any damage. Applying it to the Temple Mount came with even greater sensitivity, as any physical digging could spark serious conflict. Despite the risks, the research team carefully analyzed every result. What they uncovered was nothing short of extraordinary. The radar scans revealed complex underground structures beneath the mount, perfectly straight walls, corridors that turned at sharp angles, and hollow spaces clearly shaped by human hands. Some of these features lined up exactly with locations shown on old British Mandate-era maps, confirming the accuracy of the technology. But the real discovery came when the scans exposed something entirely new. They revealed chambers and tunnels that had never been documented before. Large open spaces appeared, shaped like rooms and linked by narrow passageways. What lies inside these hidden areas remains unknown. They could be ancient storage chambers, concealed routes, or even remnants connected to the temples described in sacred texts. What makes this approach so remarkable is that nothing is disturbed. The ground remains untouched. No stones are moved. No soil is removed. Everything is uncovered through scanning, digital mapping, and computer analysis. In a place where physical excavation is strictly forbidden, this marked a historic breakthrough. For the first time, researchers were able to explore the hidden layers beneath the Temple Mount without causing damage or controversy, opening a new window into the past. The scans conducted between 2021 and 2024 revealed details no one expected to see. For generations, people wondered what secrets lay buried beneath this sacred hill. Now, with the help of artificial intelligence and ground-penetrating radar, scientists were finally able to glimpse discoveries that had remained hidden for thousands of years. What emerged was nothing short of awe-inspiring. Stories of faith, power, and extraordinary engineering that shaped this site across multiple eras of human civilization. One discovery stood out above all the others. Hidden deep beneath the surface was a small Byzantine-era church, dating back to the 4th or 5th century, a time when Christianity was spreading across the Roman Empire. Its presence alone was remarkable. It showed that this site has held deep meaning for multiple faiths across history. The radar scans revealed defined walls and open spaces where early Christians once gathered to pray. Faint crosses carved into the rock were visible, along with Greek inscriptions suggesting that pilgrims had traveled from distant regions to worship Christ here, in the very heart of Jerusalem. This small chapel revealed an important truth. The Temple Mount has never belonged to just one faith. While conflicts between Christians, Jews, and Muslims have shaped its history, this discovery shows that all three traditions have long regarded this hill as sacred. What truly electrified scholars, however, was what lay beneath the chapel. Below it were massive ashlar stones dating to the period of the First Temple. These finely cut blocks pointed to monumental structures that once stood here during the reign of King Solomon. Their design matched what experts know about construction methods from that era, revealing centuries of history layered one atop another. These stones offered powerful evidence of a holy structure that existed long before Herod's massive renovations in the 1st century BCE. By studying the layers carefully, researchers determined that the chapel's foundation rested on material far older than Herod's work. These were not reused stones. They came from an earlier age, possibly from the First Temple itself. This finding thrilled scholars. For generations, the existence and location of Solomon's temple had been debated, with little physical evidence available. Now, underground imaging provided strong support for ancient biblical accounts. The scans revealed thoughtful planning and advanced engineering, highlighting the immense human effort invested in shaping this sacred site. The Temple Mount emerged as a place that had served as a center of worship, culture, and community life for thousands of years. Further scans uncovered an intricate network of tunnels and hidden chambers never documented before. Narrow passageways led into larger open spaces, possibly used for storage, rituals, or secret movement around the mount. Each structure told a story of innovation and devotion, showing how generation after generation built upon, protected, and sometimes rebuilt this revered hill. Remarkably, all of this was uncovered using AI and advanced scanning technology, without any physical excavation. At a site where digging is strictly forbidden, this achievement marked a historic turning point. It illuminated a past defined by faith, ingenuity, and thousands of years of human progress. Scientific analysis experts began their detailed study with clay oil lamps discovered inside the sacred chamber. Using typology, comparing their shapes and designs to known examples, archaeologists linked these lamps to those used in ancient Israel. Their rounded bodies, short spouts, and handmade rims made them immediately recognizable. These lamps dated to the 8th and 7th centuries BCE, during the era of the First Temple in Jerusalem. This was a crucial finding. It directly connected the chamber to the time of the kings of Judah. These were not artifacts from Herod's later temple, nor from Byzantine or Islamic periods. They were significantly older, pointing back to the age traditionally associated with Solomon. Archaeologists interpreted the lamps as markers left behind by ancient worshippers, silent witnesses showing that this chamber had been actively used during the First Temple period. Stones from Solomon's era were also present, tying the space to a historical chapter previously known only through texts. Researchers then turned their attention to the stone basin and the ashlar blocks forming the chamber walls. Scientists analyzed the limestone, comparing it with samples from quarries known to have been active during Solomon's reign. The results were striking. The mineral composition and fossil patterns matched stone, extracted in the 10th century BCE. Construction materials, like fingerprints, carry unique signatures. Each quarry leaves behind a distinct combination of textures and minerals that endure for millennia. The stones in this chamber bore the unmistakable marks of Solomon's era, confirming that the structure was ancient in origin, not a later addition. The final and most delicate phase of the investigation focused on an inscription carved into the chamber wall in Paleo-Hebrew, one of ancient Israel's earliest scripts. The wording was rare and archaic. Experts compared it to inscriptions found at sites such as Lachish, dating to the First Temple period. The message was simple, but profound. It spoke of the existence of a divine presence, echoing descriptions of the inner sanctuary found in ancient religious texts. This was not casual graffiti. It was a solemn declaration, likely carved by a priest or scribe with deep reverence and care. For scholars of biblical history, this moment was extraordinary. For centuries, skeptics had demanded physical evidence of Solomon's temple beyond scripture. Supporters argued that excavation was impossible, leaving proof forever out of reach. Now, the debate shifted. The combination of lamps, stones, and inscriptions formed a compelling case for the presence of the first temple within this sacred chamber. Archaeologists described the discovery as a major breakthrough. For people of faith, it was deeply moving. A confirmation that stories passed down through generations had left their mark not only in scripture, but in stone itself. The chamber did more than confirm the temple's existence. It revealed a place alive with ritual, prayer, and sacrifice, echoes of devotion that had endured for thousands of years.